Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in Iowa. I know what you guys are thinking. Spartan, this is just why? Why? I don't know, because it's a fun ship. I enjoy it. It's my favorite of all time. She's a sexy beast and we're gonna showcase just how nasty this thing can be. Now, one of the major things that I hear from people is, Spartan, the American battleships, they're meh. They've got good guns, but they just can't take hits. They can't do it. They can't take hits. So, what I aim to prove in this one is that not only can they take hits, but they can deliver absolute punishment. And, Iowa, perfect example of this. As one of my favorite ships, or my favorite ship, personally, not only is she sexy, but she's incredibly tanky if used properly. Sure, they have a giant weakness, and they have two giant weaknesses, actually. One is the superstructure. We've talked about this in the past. The superstructure has more hit points allocated to it than other nations. The only ones that are close are the Germans. So the Germans and the Americans have more hit points allocated to their superstructures, meaning that they can absolutely get touched if you are bow tanking in these and people decide to shoot the superstructure. That is the smart play to make. Now here we get a shot right off the bat that I thought I was going to get away with without being spotted. I was wrong. We get a shot out at their Bismarck, and we have another battleship over in the mid. And yeah, we're angled in relatively well, but you can see that it is the Bismarck keeping us spotted. And of course we get away from the Bismarck spotting us, and the carrier keeps us spotted for a moment. Now look at what the enemy's doing. The Republique's already spotted because it is a carrier game. And he's moving from right to left, which is letting me know that there's just not a whole lot over here on the Charlie Cap. Now, this is a domination, folks. And what have I always said about dominations? You gotta be willing to capture bases if you want to win dominations. That's just the way it goes. If you don't capture bases, you lose. Period. It is that simple. Now, we take a shot at the Flounder here over the top of the island. We completely whiff because, again, well, I guess we do hit him, but we don't do any damage. We get 3 ricochets and 1 shatter. We are going to push around the far left side, and we're going to grab the Charlie Cap. Now, you can see the only thing really that's sitting there, and I'm getting shot from the other side of the map because, of course, I am. Guys over at Charlie, or over at Alpha, are shooting me at Charlie because they've got nothing else to shoot at. It's me. My team is behind islands everywhere. But we're going to push into Charlie. We're going to try to grab this cap. They only have a single cruiser that we know of that's over here on Charlie. So that'll be our goal here. One of their destroyers has already been spotted at Alpha, where both of our destroyers is. So these are the things that I pay attention to. And the fact that we have a Ruprecht as an escort here is actually a big deal because he's tanky as well, kind of, even though he doesn't have the bow armor really. I mean, he has an icebreaker, but that's about it. But he has torpedoes. So if we get rushed, he's got the ability to remove them. Now, obviously, I'm going to be getting into the cap to help capture this base. The cruiser's already running away, which you can't really blame them because that is what the enemies are all doing. We have Republique out here, or Republique out here running away, which is just sad in and of itself. He's completely given up this side of the map, and it's because he's given up this side of the map that his team's going to lose this match. Because we're going to be able to get the crossfires on everybody. Ruprecht decides to go inside, which, I mean, to each his own. We got an Amagi here being harassed by our carrier, which just happens to be Peak. And I believe Peak is inside Pan in this one. But Amagi's reversing. He's broadside. Like, this is just absolutely nasty. We've got a lot of horizontal dispersion here, which is the best kind of dispersion for these sorts of situations. But the Amagi does turn in towards us a little bit, which causes our shells to all kind of miss, which is just really unfortunate. I don't know if you guys noticed that or not, but he did. He kind of turned and backed away from the island a little bit, turning the back of his ship towards us, which just caused us to miss him. But we take another shot at him as he's going to try to get behind the island. We know what he's doing. We're going to go ahead and see if we can't remove him. Shot looks pretty solid from here. And yeah, So, just one of those things. We may have missed the first shot because of a weird little bit of a turn by him, but we knew where he was going to go. He's trying to escape. We don't allow it to happen. Mines out here is actually in a position where he's getting smacked around a little bit, but he's in a kiting position. He's going to try to get away. We've got, I believe, a Bismarck that's right here as well, and a Flounder, as well as the carrier. So what we're going to do is we're going to push these guys back. We're going to apply the pressure. Now, first shot out at the mines, 9,000 damage, solid hit. And you can see I'm starting to lay in shots after the Republique and the Bismarck. Bismarck is kind of heading away from us, so he's slightly angled. He's not full broadside. We aim a little bit high, just to make sure that we get some shells on target here. And it looks pretty solid. He makes a turn towards us, and unfortunately we only hit him with 3 shells that time. But he opens up to us, which allows our teammate to get a good hit on him as well. You can see he's in Bravo. I believe it's Zatu. Yeah, Zatu's in Bravo. And Peak, like I said, is over on Alpha trying to harass the enemy destroyer with the carrier. Now, Bismarck has thrown away half his hit points really quickly. We get a very nasty salvo out of Iowa here, and we land 5 out of 9 shells on target and absolutely punish him. And then he's, like I said, he's opened up too much. He's in a position where he's no longer going to be able to survive this. Peak finishes off the Kagero, and Bismarck's not long for this world, but he looks like he's going to get behind the same island that the Amagi did. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't finish that off. We take a nasty hit from the Republique, and so we've got to worry about trying to finish him off. The shells do manage to make it over just barely, but he'd already cleared it, unfortunately. Not able to finish off the Bismarck. But now we've got to focus this Republique. Now, up to this point, we haven't done a lot of damage, but look at what we've done with the team. We've captured the Charlie Cap, and we are pushing the enemy away. Like, we are going to guarantee that we have the 2-cap advantage. The Republique is the only one standing in the way of that. So, the Republique decides to shoot our cruiser buddy, which is unfortunate, but is what it is. And now he's in a position where there's nothing he can do here. He's got Peak on top of him with torpedoes, and it looks like he's going to kill him, and he does. And then that's going to allow me to take a shot at the Bismarck in the background. We take that shot over the island, and now I'm turning out because we have torpedo bombers coming in from their carrier. And, you know, Iowa has fantastic AA, so we're going to be able to shred a lot of these. But unfortunately, even with the turning that we are able to do, he does manage to get a pretty nasty shot for over 10,000 damage on us with the torpedo bomber. Mines is going to be a problem for us because he's at a distance where I'm going to struggle to hit him effectively. And then, of course, we have the Lexington out here. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at him because any chance you got to take a shot at the carrier, you got to do it because that's a lot of potential damage coming at you for a long time if you can't do anything about it. So, first shot out on the carrier, we get 7,600 damage. And now you can see I'm already putting myself in a position where I'm able to attack the Flounder here. Now, Flounder is kiting away, so we're not worried about him. We are trying to get rid of the light cruiser because light cruiser's DPM is ridiculous, but then the carrier gets spotted again. So we want to try to make sure that we're aiming at the carrier here. This time we get all 3 guns away at the carrier. And we open up, and that's when I noticed that the Flounder's actually turning to come back and bow tank us. Now this one we didn't quite lead it enough. We do get a solid hit out of it. Didn't quite lead him enough though to get the citadels that we would like. But now that Flounder is coming directly at us, we get double fired, or yeah, I think we got double fired there from the carrier. And then we aim high here, hoping to go for superstructure or guns, and every one of those shells hit the belt. Like, I know not to hit the belt there. I aimed high, hoping that I would hit the belt, and somehow every one of those shells went straight to the belt. But in this sort of situation, we're in what you call a drive-by scenario, right? Everybody plays drive-bys wrong, for the most part. I see so many people play a drive-by wrong. This guy comes in full broadside to get a full broadside on me, shoots the bow of my ship, and now that allows me to do this. You can't have that in a drive-by scenario. You always want to be the guy who's bow into a drive-by, preferably, or at least angle. And that was a perfect example. You guys say that, you know, the Americans don't have the armor to deflect that stuff. The 16-inch guns, no problem. The only thing that the American battleships have to fear is Yami. That's it. Everything else has to work just as hard as you do in order to do damage to you. Now, unfortunately, here we get attritioned out. Like there's only so much I can do. I don't have will to rebuild. My cruiser's staying too far away. Zatu's too far away, so I don't have any sort of will to rebuild. But we did everything we could in this one. 154,000 damage. We managed to pretty much get rid of the Flounder in one shot. We pushed the carrier back. We pushed the mines back. We managed to clean up and get everybody, and we created the crossfire that allowed our teammates to clean up the Bismarck, the Republic, all of them. We absolutely caused those crossfires. While our teammates were in the center of the map, we went around the flank in the Iowa and forced them to make the decision. Do they want to bow tank the Iowa? Do they want to bow tank Zatu in the middle of the map? And these are the situations that the Iowas and the other American battleships, Kansas being the one down, like the one that really doesn't do well at that situation, because Kansas struggles to get around that edge. We all know that Kansas is slow. Like, Kansas is, what, 5 knots slower than even Iowa, if you run the exact same build. So, it's definitely one of those ships where you've got to make sure that in Kansas, you put yourself in a better position to take advantage of crossfires. Sure, you can create crossfires with Kansas, but it's a lot harder. But more often than not, you need to try to put yourself in a position in Kansas where you can actually take advantage of those crossfires. Whereas in the Iowa, in the Alabama, in the Massachusetts can take advantage of being up close and personal, especially because I build it with the Massachusetts build with the secondaries. But mines goes down to Hipper. That just leaves the little scumbag back here in the carrier. And he's not got a lot of health left. We took a good chunk off of him before we died too. So he's not going to last very long. But this was a perfect example of how to use the Iowa effectively. Pay attention to the map, see what the enemy is doing, grab the cap as quickly as possible, and then Zatu and his Alabama managed to take out the carrier. So, pay attention to the map, take advantage of where the enemy is retreating from, because everybody likes to run away from their side, right? We protect our side. Zatu and I end up with 6 kills between the two of us, and Peak ends up with another 2 kills. So we killed 8 out of 9 enemy ships between the 3 of us. That's a solid performance from a division, if you ask me. Peak almost gets 2,000 base XP in a carrier. That's ridiculous. But 150k, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.